Okay, we're going to talk about posture, hand position, and balance when holding your flute. So you want to make sure you're sitting up very straight when you play your flute because it does take a lot of air like most instruments do, and you have to have good posture in order to do that. But a lot of times when you tell children to sit up straight, they end up jutting their chests out, which is actually bad for them, and it's harder to breathe that way. So when you're sitting straight up, a lot of the time, an easy way to think about it is by thinking about your hips actually instead of your chest. So pretend your hips are a bowl, and when you turn them backwards, it causes you to slump over. So I'm taking my hips like this and I'm turning them backwards, so the front up, which causes me to slump over. And if I turn them too forward this way, it does what most kids do when they think they're sitting up straight. So just think of your hips as a bowl and just turn them until they're straight. So you want to be sitting up straight but not overly arched, and you don't want to be slumped. So just think about your hips. If it also helps, you can feel for your sit bones, those bones in your butt. You can feel for them until you can balance on it. That actually helps. You sit up straighter. So now that you have a good posture in you, you're going to, a lot of the times you want to turn your chair to about a 45-degree angle. I'm obviously not in a chair right now, but you want your stand. So if I did have a stand right now, it would be right here instead of right in front of me, and then I would turn my torso while keeping my legs at a 45-degree angle to the stand. That's going to help with breast support. So we will talk about hand position on the flute. So we'll start with your right hand. So your right hand is eventually going to line up with your bottom 3 keys on your flute, and then these pinky keys down here. But a good way to think of it is just flop your hand around, really relax, and then just flop it on your flute. Kind of sounds silly, but you want your hand to just be nice and curved, like this, on your flute. So you're going to have these last 3 keys on my 1, 2, 3, and your pinky. Now your thumb is going to rest on your flute directly below your pointer finger. So here's my pointer finger, and here's my thumb. And my hand's going to be nice and curved because the flute's going to be over here. Just a nice, relaxed angle. Now for your other hand, as you can see, there's lots of keys up here, but we don't have that many fingers. So your first finger, once again, your hand's going to be curved very much this way. So your first finger is going to be on this second one down, not this top one, because see, that one controls the top one. And then you're going to skip one, and that's where your middle finger is going to go. And then your ring finger will go right next to that, and your pinky will go on this little key right here. So you will have a top key that you don't put your finger on, and then a key between your first and your middle finger. Once again, your hand should be just really relaxed and naturally curved. When you lay your hand to your side, it's just naturally curved. That's how you want it to lay on the flute. Your thumb on your left hand is going to go on these keys back here, depending on what note you're playing. We'll start right here on this back one. So that's how you hold your flute. Now when you raise your fingers up, you have to think about your balance points of when you're playing your flute. So you have several balance points. Obviously, if you're pushing down any keys, you have balance points there. But there's 3 main balance points that you always have when playing your flute. First is your thumb, down here. This thumb that's below your right pinky finger. That's your first balance point. Your next balance point is in the joint of your right hand. So this bone right here, because when your hand's curved like this, the flute's just going to rest right on top of that bone. So that's your second balance point. So see, I'm balancing the flute right there with my fingers. And then it's on my thumb. So right now I'm just balancing the flute with my joint right here and then my thumb. The third balance point is going to be your chin. So when you have the flute up to play, it's going to just balance on your chin. That way when you're playing more difficult notes like C, which is just your pointer and your pinky, you have a third balance point. So right now I'm just balancing the flute on my chin, my pointer finger joint, and then my thumb down here. And then the keys I'm pressing down are also helping as well. But those are your 3 main balance points.